Hello, everybody. Welcome. My name is Trevor Lee, and this is what is called a free taster course. So it's a kind of mini course to give you an idea before you commit to buying the Transform Your Business Presentations course. It will guide you through how it's going to work if you buy the whole course. So I've taken one of the modules, which is the practice module, and I'm going to give you a kind of shortened version of the practice module for this free taster, if you like. So we're going to work our way through some thoughts and ideas about presentation practice. And as I say, the whole purpose of this is to give you a feel, and at the end of it, hopefully you'll want to sign up to the main course itself. So let's have a little think about why practice when you've got a presentation opportunity. Well, there are certain things that will happen if you practice. You will be able to make sure you've got the content right, because when we're doing our presentations, very often we get we put too much content in there, frankly. We can check whether it flows, because a presentation needs to be a bit like a story in a sense. And if you practice it in the right way, it will flow in the right way, and your audience will be moving through or be taken through your presentation in a seamless way. You can check the timing, of course, and I've got a little formula for you to use in a minute or so about how to get the timing right. You can also check your purpose. And your purpose is module 1 of the main course. And what we focus on there is asking the question, so why are you presenting? What do you hope to achieve? And clearly when you're practicing your presentation, you can just check that everything in there is helping you achieve that purpose. And also give you a chance to style it as well in terms of the way you deliver your presentation, because you might be delivering in person, you might be delivering virtually, and they both have to be practiced. So if you're going to practice, though, you need to take practice seriously. All right, that's really, really important. And I'll show you a couple of things on how to do that as well. But, very often people don't practice. So, why don't presenters practice? Well, I've heard many, many reasons for that in my time. And there are things like, well, I just haven't got enough time. And I say to people, well, if you haven't got enough time to practice, how important is your presentation? What is getting in the way? What are you using time for that is stopping you delivering, practicing your presentation? And then people say, well, I don't need to practice. I've done loads of presentations. Well, that's great, but how many times have you done this one to this particular audience? Probably never before. Okay, so it's got to be worth practicing. And people say, well, I'm not going to be role-playing. Well, practice isn't role-playing. It's not. It's practicing is for real. It's just that there's no audience there. So it's not some sort of fabricated thing where you think, oh, well, I've got to stand in a room and role-play. It's serious. It's proper stuff. And of course, then I'd ask the question, so what happens if you do practice? Well, chances are these things will happen. Number one, you'll be less nervous. Lots of people are nervous about presenting. But if you practice, that will help calm your nerves. You still need a little bit of an edge, and that's not a bad thing to have. But hopefully you won't be a, dithering wreck or something like that. It will therefore boost your presentation confidence, because you'll know your presentation. You'll feel as though you've delivered it several times already. And therefore, there will be no surprises, either for you or your audience, where, how many times do you see a presenter and the slide comes up and they go, oh, right. As though they didn't know that was coming up next. And it will make sure that you don't be tempted to take with you when you present, A4 notes or a script or something like that, because we don't want that. We definitely don't want that. And the other thing is it will help you avoid a rambling, stumbling start, because you'll have practiced your start and you'll know exactly what you're going to say at the beginning, rather than, oh, well, thanks very much, everybody. Now then, where's the clicker? Yeah. Doesn't feel very professional. And of course, as we've already alluded to, you will run on time if you follow my guidelines on how to do that. So, how should you practice? Well, first thing you should do is try and replicate the conditions. That's really important. So, if you're going to be delivering your presentation standing up, then practice standing up. If you're going to be delivering it sitting down because it's virtual, you're delivering something virtually, then, sit down and deliver it virtually. And one top tip when you're sitting down is that I'm recording this sitting on a guitar stool. Okay, I never use my normal office chair when I'm either recording something like this or indeed delivering any sort of online presentation or meeting or whatever, or webinar, or whatever it might be. And then some people say, well, should I practice in front of the mirror? Well, well, you can do. It's not something I would advocate, because I think you might get a little bit too. You're not going to be stood in front of a mirror when you're there, are you? So, you'll be too overcritical, I think, if you do that. And likewise, for me, do you practice? Do you video your practice? Well, some people say you should. I'm not sure. I think it's down to you as an individual, really. And if you're not sure, then don't worry about it, because the danger of video in your practice is you become overcritical and you go, do I really look like that? Do I really sound like that? Okay, so I would, maybe not practice too much and video it to start with. As you get more of a very good presenter and you just want to iron out one or two little things, then video analysis is going to be great for that. But maybe in the early days, you don't worry too much about that. Should you practice in front of a colleague? Well, you can, colleague, family, friend, whatever you can do. But of course, the danger is they're going to say, oh, well, that was brilliant, Trevor. That was fantastic. And of course, it might not be. So if you want a third party, then, you probably get somebody like me or an independent party as a coach just to spend a few minutes going through that with you. But more on that. So, and then, how much should I practice is the final question I'm often asked. And somebody once said to me, practice enough so you're not going to mess up. And by that, completely mess up. Because at the end of the day, if you forget, a minor point or you forget a line, who's going to know? Only you. So, that's why we're not looking to be word perfect. So just enough to not mess up. And also, as I say, not to be word perfect. I remember working with somebody once and they said, oh, I've just got to know every word. And clearly when you're not an actor, you're not delivering a pre-rehearsed, memorized script. Okay, things will change, things will flow. And you can, of course, come across as a bit wooden if you sound as though you are just repeating words that you've memorized. So how many times should you practice? Well, I always think with a presentation, walk through it 1 or 2 times. You're not timing it, you're just walking through it. And you can do this walking your dog. And you can just get a feel for how it comes together and how it might flow and all that sort of stuff. And when you walk through it, it'll give you a chance to revisit the content. Because you're kind of testing it out when you walk through. Does it work? Is it right for the audience? Have I put too much in there, which is often the case? Okay, so you need to sometimes be that editor, sometimes a ruthless editor, where you'll be taking at this stage stuff out. And then when you've kind of think you've got it, you've got it cracked effectively, you've got the content right, then that is the time, to run through it and to time it as well. And my golden rule of timing it when you run through it is to aim to deliver it in practice in 80 to 85% of the time that you've been allocated. So as a quick rule of thumb, let's say you've got a 20-minute presentation. Well, 85% of 20 minutes is 17 minutes. So if you can do that, then there's a good chance you won't overrun on the day. If you practice a 20-minute presentation and you can nail it in practice in 20 minutes, then there's a very good chance you'll overrun on the day because you just keep adding a little bit more to it. So there we go, everybody. I hope that's given you a bit of a taster for how this course works. And this is the video version of the module. There's a podcast version, which is the audio version, which you can then just listen to if you prefer to learn by listening. You've got checklists for each module as well. There'll be the slides for each module and there'll be summary notes. So you've kind of got the whole package, and you can check all of those out in this free taster module as well. And then when you're ready, if you think, right, this is for me, and you've now got a feel for me and the way this whole course is going to work, then you can sign up to the course. So go onto the main page for the course, and there'll be lots of buttons on there that will allow you to say, start this course. So good luck with that, and I hope it works out well for you. And don't forget, I also offer a money-back guarantee. So if for whatever reason you're not happy with the main course and it doesn't work for you, then just let me know and I'll make sure that happens. I hope that won't be the case, and I look forward to being your guide as you go on your journey of transforming the way you deliver presentations. I look forward to helping you do exactly that.